In this video, we're going to explore how we can use classes in our CSS style sheet. So right now we understand these values of the syntax and what all of these means. So I'll just put here comment on all of these. But what is very important here is the following. So for example, here, right now we have this here. This paragraph here gives both of them a padding top, and we have both of them a color. Let's say that we're going to give this a color green. However, maybe the second paragraph should not be green. And how can we then adjust this? So let me show you exactly how we can do this. With that, we can assign a class to give it a different value or give it a different CSS property. So let's do that. So to do that, we need to assign a class in HTML and then give this paragraph a class name. Remember, a class cannot have space. So no spaces are allowed, and also it should never start with a number. So if you have these numbers here, it will not recognize this. That is not allowed to adjust or not allowed to use, because CSS will not recognize that. It only recognizes alphabetic letters, and then after that you can do, of course, a number. So let's say this text 1, this would be fine. So let's copy this, and even dashes would be also fine. That's fine as well. So let's say text 1, and text 1 we want to have in black, and this we want to have in red. Well, what we can do here basically is we can give here another class, and let's give this class the name red color. So there's two ways to do this. Let's go back here. And if you have this paragraph here set, imagine if you have this set and you're not allowed to adjust this, because then we have slightly an issue here, because we want to make this one red and this one should be black, but we're not allowed to adjust it. So what we can do is the following. We can assign a specific color for the class as well. So what we can do is here, the paragraph, the p tag, this selector, we will attach with it the class name. By doing that is saying dot. The dot indicates that this is going to be a class. So CSS understands that this will be a class, and then we get the class name, which is red color. So once we do this, we put in here curly braces, and then we're going to put in here our declaration. Our declaration will be, in this case, color, and here red. So we have this property with this value here. So if we do this and save this and refresh, if we save that, and then make sure we save also the CSS of the HTML file, sorry. And once we refresh this, as you can see, now it overrules the previous command here, or the previous declaration. Why is that? Well, this is more specific. If this is more specific, it will overrule the one that is less specific. This is a standard item. And this is also very common, why many people tend to use inline just for a quick solution here. So imagine many people might do this. They say, well, I don't want to waste my time to create a new CSS style. I will just do a quick inline, especially developers who want to see how this works. They will say here color red. And if you would do this, you will see that this will work as well. Let's give this color blue, so you will see it immediately. There you are. So it overrules it. But of course, this kind of overruling, I understand why many people tend to use it, but should be avoided as much as possible, because this is just excess baggage on the HTML file, and which is not good for your Google rankings. So we can remove this. Let's remove all of this inline style and get back here to the red color. And leave this here. Let's save this again and go back here. So this is a way how you can control it. So then next would be, if you want to have, let's say the text 1 should be black, or let's say black color, we can do exactly the same here. However, maybe you don't want this here. We can remove this all, because by default the paragraph is always set on black. So if you save this, there you are. So now you can see here we have this. But maybe you also want to remove the padding here. So what can we do is we can do the same command here, basically with padding, or remove the padding. We can say black color, if I'm not mistaken. That's the class, black color. Alright, and then we say padding top. We have this declaration, we say 0. If we save this, refresh, we can see now our padding has been removed. This is the way how you can do it, but of course the same thing what you could do as well is you can remove here, this, and just add up, for example, only here a padding, and then remove all of this here. Basically then you have a paragraph, or all the extra codes here has been removed. We clean it up more, and it does exactly the same. So you should write efficient CSS syntax in your CSS style. That makes sense, because less code is better, but of course make sure it's efficient enough and easy to read. This is very, very important. The reason why it should be easy to read is for this core reason. If you are working in a team, meaning that you need to know, and your team members should be able to know what has been typed, but if they didn't type it, they will not know what you did. So if they didn't know what you did, they must be able to read it within seconds or minutes, because too many codes, if it has been written by, or maybe you have a very clever way to make it, but it becomes very complicated. What happens then is, if you have a team and the team member wants to adjust it, will struggle with understanding what you did. And if that happens, it means that you're wasting time, or they are wasting time in understanding what your code is. And if this happens, that would mean, let's say they need to understand, instead of 1 minute, it takes them 10 minutes to understand your code. If you have a team of 5, and every time you do one adjustment, it would take 10 minutes extra, you are spending, in a team of 5, 50 minutes for the entire team, basically. And the same would go for you as well. Don't do this, especially in JavaScript. This is very notorious, that where they have huge codes, and it's very hard to read. But in CSS, you have these as well. Make it efficient as possible, but also very clear that people understand exactly what you did and how this would respond on the website, because they need to know how it will respond, so they can understand if for example, they would put a color here, they would at least know what's going on, because maybe they were expecting here this. If they haven't noticed this here, or they didn't check this because it was somehow hidden within it by very complicated code, and then they were trying to put in here color blue, and they would save this and refresh, they would not be able to understand what's going on here. Of course, you can figure this out eventually with developer tab, but this is always time wasting. As you can see here with the developer tab, you can see then what's linked to our colors. Alright, so this is very, very important. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions regarding this, make sure you put them in the comment section. I'll get back to you. And if you enjoyed this video, check out the next video here. You will probably enjoy this as well.